Far away from cities, far away from machines, and far away from everything we call modern civilization, there exists another world. A world where the laws of physics feel absolute, where water is always fluid, where gravity always wins, and where solid ground is the only place meant for running. At least, that is what we believe. But nature has never been fully bound by what we believe. Because in hidden corners of the world, in humid forests, quiet ponds, and tropical rivers, there are creatures that challenge one of the most basic assumptions of life on Earth. They do not fly. They do not swim. They do not sink. They run on water. As if the surface of a river is not liquid, but solid ground that briefly exists just long enough for survival. And to understand how this is possible, we must forget what we think we know about boundaries between land and water. We must enter a world where speed, weight, and precision determine whether physics becomes a barrier or simply a tool. Our journey begins with one of the most famous examples of this phenomenon, the basilisk lizard, often called the Jesus lizard. It lives in the tropical rainforests of Central and South America, where danger can come from the ground, the trees, or even above. When threatened, the basilisk does not fight. It escapes. And sometimes it escapes in the most impossible way imaginable, by running across the surface of water. At incredible speed, the basilisk lifts itself upright on its hind legs and begins sprinting across a river. Each step is fast, precise, explosive. Its feet strike the water with just the right angle and timing, not pushing through it, not sinking into it, but hitting it so quickly that the water briefly behaves like a solid surface. Each impact creates a pocket of air and upward force that prevents immediate sinking. But this ability is fragile. If the basilisk slows down, it falls. If it loses rhythm, it sinks. If it hesitates even for a moment, the illusion collapses. In the world of the basilisk, water is not a path. It is an emergency escape route that exists only for seconds. And every second is a calculation between survival and failure. But the basilisk is not alone in this impossible skill. If we shrink our focus into something much smaller, we find an even more elegant master of water movement: the water strider. A tiny insect that lives on ponds, lakes, and still rivers. Unlike the basilisk, it does not rely on explosive speed or muscle power. Instead, it relies on something invisible: surface tension. Water is held together at its surface by a delicate molecular force that acts almost like a thin, elastic skin. The water strider takes advantage of this invisible layer. Its legs are long, thin, and perfectly adapted to distribute weight. Instead of breaking the surface, it spreads its body weight so evenly that the water does not collapse beneath it. It does not truly run through water. It glides on top of it. Each movement creates small ripples that help propel it forward. It can stop instantly, change direction, even perform tiny jumps across the surface without ever breaking through. If the basilisk is a desperate sprinter crossing water in moments of danger, then the water strider is a true specialist of the water surface itself. It lives its entire life at the boundary between two worlds: air above, liquid below, and it belongs fully to neither. But nature does not stop at one solution, because evolution never stops experimenting. In other aquatic insects, we find variations of this idea. Some small water insects use rapid leg movements combined with surface tension to dash across water briefly. they are not as stable as water striders, not as powerful as basilisks, but they demonstrate the same principle. Water is not an obstacle. It is a system to be exploited. And this is where something deeper begins to emerge. Running on water is not a single ability. It is a collection of physical strategies shaped by evolution. Speed, weight distribution, surface interaction, timing, and precision, all working together in perfect balance. To the basilisk, every step is a negotiation with gravity, a brief moment where downward force is countered by upward resistance. But this balance only lasts for milliseconds, because gravity never stops working, and water never stops giving way. This is why the basilisk can only perform this feat for short distances. Only in emergencies. Only when survival demands it. It is not comfort. It is not control. It is desperation refined into motion. Now, imagine the world from the perspective of water itself. A river is never still. Its surface is constantly shifting. Tiny waves and vibrations change everything. A single disturbance can break the delicate balance needed for water running. The basilisk must read these changes instantly, adjust every step in real time, react faster than conscious thought allows. Meanwhile, the water strider must constantly adjust to micro changes in surface tension. A shift in wind, a ripple from falling debris, a shadow passing overhead. Every detail matters, and none of it is planned. There are no calculations like human mathematics, only instinct, only evolution. Millions of years of refinement compressed into reflex and muscle. But the deeper question remains, why did this ability evolve at all? Why would nature produce creatures that run on water? The answer always returns to one principle: survival pressure. For the basilisk, rivers are both barriers and escape routes. Land predators force it toward water. So evolution shaped a body that can briefly exploit water's physical properties. For the water strider, life exists entirely on the surface of water. Food, predators, and reproduction all occur in that thin boundary layer. So evolution refined a body that never breaks it. Two completely different worlds, one shared concept: adaptation to the surface. And as we study these creatures more deeply, we begin to realize something important. They are not breaking the laws of physics. They are using them. Surface tension is not ignored, it is exploited. Momentum is not defied, it is redirected. Gravity is not canceled, it is temporarily balanced. And in this balance, life finds opportunity. Back in the rainforest, the basilisk stands near the edge of a river. Still, alert. Then suddenly, a trigger, a movement, a threat. And in an instant, it launches. Its feet strike the water. Once, twice, again and again. The surface holds just long enough. Long enough for escape, long enough for survival. And then it is over. The river becomes water again, as if nothing ever happened. Above a quiet pond, the water strider continues its delicate movement. Light, effortless, almost invisible, as if walking on a surface that was never liquid at all. Two creatures, two strategies, one impossible outcome. And in both cases, nature reveals something profound. What we call impossible is often just a misunderstanding of timing, scale, and physics. Because in the natural world, nothing is truly impossible. Only conditions we have not yet learned to use. And when the water finally becomes still again, There is no trace left behind. Only the quiet surface of a world that continues as if it never changed. But somewhere within that silence, physics has just been rewritten by life itself.